Late Sunday night reviews, folks. I am finally dipping into further and further into this huge pile of John Wayne collection DVDs that I purchased several weeks ago. And tonight we are going to be reviewing Donovan's Reef, starring John Wayne and Lee Marvin, directed by John Ford. This movie came out in 1963. It has an hour and 49-minute runtime. And this is considered a screwball comedy slash adventure movie, although I feel that the adventure part is a little deceiving because it's not really adventurous. Other notable actors: Cesar Romero. The female lead is a lady named Elizabeth Allen. She was quite easy on the eyes. This is Wayne's and John Ford's last film that they worked on together. Ford had been in declining health. He had suffered World War II injuries at the Battle of Midway. He was a heavy drinker and smoker, and his eyesight and his memory was failing him. Although he would go on to live another 13 years, I think, from what I read, from after this film was released in 63. At one point, he basically handed over the directorial duties to John Wayne, and John Wayne is not listed as a contributor, but he supposedly directed most of this film. It takes place in a fictional island in French Polynesia, but it was filmed on the island of Kauai. And although it is a screwball comedy, there is a deeper look at race relations and the sentiment of white people looking down on other ethnicities in the early 60s. So John Ford likes to look deeper at morality issues that were going on at the time, and he kind of layers it with this comedy exterior. I feel like if you watch this as a modern audience and you're a very sensitive person, this movie needs a trigger warning. The way they portray the Chinese in this movie is entirely racist, but it was supposed to be comical, right? You see a movie that came out at around a similar time period, Breakfast at Tiffany's, where Mickey Rooney has a very racist caricature of him playing a Japanese guy. So too, I feel like the Chinese were portrayed in this movie in a very racist way to get a laugh. But then you're looking at the deeper view, because one of the premises is this gal, Elizabeth Allen, comes back to see her father that she had never met after World War II. He left his New England family behind, and he was a naval doctor, and he stayed in the southeast in the French Polynesian Islands as a doctor on these small island nations. And then he marries like some princess that we find out and had like half Polynesian, half white kids. And his sentiment, John Wayne's character's sentiment, was, we don't want her to see this mixed race child. So there's kind of this like awkward lie the whole movie, where is this white woman from New England going to accept these mixed race children? So that's kind of one of the plots, and there's a whole story that goes around with that. Is it the best movie? No. Is it a great laugh? I found myself laughing out loud hysterically throughout this whole movie. And John Ford, per the Wikipedia article where I got most of the information that I got, he didn't even take this movie too seriously. He was quoted as saying, "We're not going to win any prizes, but it is certainly a fun movie, and I did enjoy it." Is it the best John Ford movie? No. I like his black and white era films, but then even his cinematography, he does capture, although, you know, Wayne was supposedly mostly directing this movie. This is a color film, right? Filmed in Technicolor. It still has the way that he captures light and shadows playing into it. Plus, it's a beautiful setting in Kauai. The colors and the greens and the blues and the reds and the whites, they just pop. It's like color film from this era, late 50s, early 60s. It just has a very beautiful feel. It's very vibrant and it's very rich. And Ford also lays out his shots very well. They're always perfectly crafted. Even if it's not the best movie ever, it still has those Ford signatures of amazing scene layout, backgrounds, lighting. Like I mentioned, Lee Marvin and John Wayne play off each other really good in this movie. It's like a screwball comedy from the early 60s. So is it very dated for a modern audience? Yes. But if you're a fan of cinema, I think you could really enjoy this movie. And John Wayne is a great actor, or he was a leading guy, and then you're seeing, based off the article that I read, you're seeing the transition where kind of Lee Marvin was kind of like the big time guy in the 60s movies. This movie has a 75% Rotten Tomato audience score, which I think I am more aligned with in my rating. I'm 3 out of 5. It's not quite to the level of 4 out of 5. I enjoyed it, but it's not as bad as the critics average from Rotten Tomato, which is only 54%. I think that's kind of disingenuous and unfair. IMDb 6.7 out of 10, and there were only 4 or 5 people that had reviewed their feelings on Google, but most of those people were 4 out of 4 and 5 stars. People, the audience people that I saw were an older generation of people putting in their reviews, loved this movie. I'm pretty sure my grandpa liked this movie. Again, he was in the Navy. John Ford was in the Navy during the war. Interestingly enough, Wayne did not serve during World War II. But like I said, and I said it a million times already, it's a fun movie. It was John Ford's last commercial success. It made a couple of million over budget in a budget of 2.6 million. It went on to gross 6.6 million at the box office. The original title was The South Sea Story. What else do I have? That's pretty much it, folks. I don't have much more to add. Lots of Hawaiian music, lots of Catholic priests. Well, there was one main Catholic priest. Cesar Romero's fun. Check it out. Comment down below. I'd like to know your thoughts about this film. Also, there was another person that played... Jack Warden had a bit part in there, and Dorothy Lamour. They add to the laughs and mayhem in this tropical comedy treat. Yeah. A South Seas escapade. So that's the review. Until next time, we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.